Welcome to our 26th episode. It's Friday, it's 3 o'clock. You're at Hot Shot Secrets headquarters here in Mount Gilead, Ohio. And I'm Chris Gabrelchuk, the CEO. And today we're welcoming Carmen, our e-commerce manager, director. She's going to tell us about all the exciting things happening on the web.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Usually when you join us on Facebook Live Fridays, we do free product giveaway, and today we're going to try something a little bit different. We're still going to give something away, but this time instead of just asking questions, we're asking you to share. We still want you to comment and like and ask your questions, but when you share this video stream, we're going to give everybody that shares a 10% discount off of their future order. So be sure to share this, like, comment, and we look forward to engaging with you throughout the next half hour or so. Also, just so you're aware, right now on hotshotsecret.com, we have a special running for the rest of January, which is about a week. And it's every order that's $99 and above will get a free bottle of FR3 included with their order. And as always, free shipping. And don't forget to subscribe to our email newsletter. We're going to send you exclusive deals, tips and tricks for your diesel needs and winter care tips and all of that. So be sure to like, subscribe, and keep following us.
Did you say half an hour?
Well, we're going to try. I'm going to try to keep Chris into a half an hour. I don't think that that's possible, but we'll see.
We have never been able to do this in a half an hour. We always try. That's our goal, but it never works.
Goals.
So today, we're going to be talking about TBN Booster. It's one of the best kept secrets here at Hot Shot Secret. It's one of the best products we make, and we're going to explain how it works and why it is so good in a few minutes. We're going to be answering your questions, and we're going to cover a few frequently asked questions. Usually we get the same questions over and over again, so we try to address them so everybody can understand them. If you have questions, text them in there or put them in the box so we can have Levi read them to us, and we'll try to address them.
But before we get started on TBN, we just wanted to share with you some TB news this weekend. If you visit Motor Trend, formerly Velocity Channel, on Saturday you'll see Kevin and Willie from Two Guys Garage. They'll be covering Stiction, Eliminator, and FR3. So you want to learn more about our products, check them out on Motor Trend. And then on Sunday, Two Guys Garage will be covering our TBN Booster, which we're going to be talking about today as well. And also, just so you know, that we're going to have some new t-shirts coming out soon, so be on the lookout for that.
Yes, we also have some new Hot Shot Secret dealers. As you know, we sell through retail outlets. We also sell through the web. That's Carmen. But we have dealers. Our dealers are the people that really understand the inside of an engine. We wouldn't expect somebody at the shelf or at a retail outlet like a Walmart to understand how a diesel engine works. So we set up dealers across the country, over 1,000 of them now. And we give them a deeper dive into how the product works. So they really do have a higher level of knowledge. We would ask you to go and visit them and talk to them. They can explain how the product works and why they carry it. But this week we have a few new guys that we want to give a shout out to. We have CDT Performance and Off-Road in Varina, North Carolina. We also have Gary's Gas Stop in Pueblo, Colorado. We have Dynamic Diesel in Yucapa, California. See, they put these words in here.
They did this on purpose. Yes, they did.
I thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that. We have Cutter Up Auto and Performance in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So those are a few people. Go visit them.
We also want to give a special shout out to Cody Lowe of Triangle Diesel in Kankakee, Illinois. Hey Cody, I'm also from Chicago, so I hope you guys are staying warm over there. I actually hope to come visit you at some point and meet you in person. And David Berg for helping on our recent articles that we've done. And if you've signed up for our newsletter, just a reminder, you will be able to receive all of our blog information. We just did a whole what to do when your diesel fuel gels. So we give 3 to 4 tips on what to do in that situation, how to prevent it, and what to do if it actually happened. So these guys out in Illinois were really helpful in helping us produce that content, and we really appreciate you guys. We couldn't do it without you.
So this year in 2019, you're going to see a lot more how-to articles and a lot more content. That's one of the things that we're trying to develop. So sign up for the email sign-up sheet that you'll see on our website. We have just a lot of content here at Hot Shot Secret and LSI because we do a lot of research. We do a lot of hands-on practical things with drivers. We talk to a lot of drivers. We basically are like a hub of knowledge here, but we've never really sent that out in a timely, reasonable manner. And since Carmen's come on board, one of the goals that we have for this year is to start putting that out into the public, hopefully at a pace about once a week. So our email newsletter should be a lot more content, a lot more exciting. Instead of just promotionals or things that we're running on sale, we really want to give you the information that you need to keep your diesel engine running best that it can be.
And if you guys have content ideas, like things that we haven't touched on in the past, we want to hear those. We love hearing from you. A lot of our product ideas and challenges, we love a challenge, by the way. If you didn't know that about the team here, they love a challenge. So if you're running into a challenge with your diesel, or if you have just content that you'd like to say, hey, I'd really like to know how to, send it to us. We want to hear it. We are more than happy to answer those things. And for those of you that are just joining us, this is just a reminder that we're going to talk about our TBN product. Chris is going to tell us what it is. It's one of our oil additives. And if you want to, we have our team on the side over here. We'll just check with them to see if there's been any questions that have popped up just yet, or if we can dive into talking about TBN.
Again, we get a lot of great questions. We go to trade shows, we go to races, people come up and ask us questions. And one thing I've noticed about diesel owners is they really do understand their vehicle a lot more than a normal gasoline owner. It just seems to be something in their blood. So we get these great questions. I wish we could have a camera up and record all of them and then use them for things like this. So if you have questions, let us know. We'll be glad to address them. If we can't get them this week, we'll get to them next week and keep you up to date on it. So this week we're going to talk about TBM Booster. This is our product. It's available at Tractor Supply. It's also available online. Now, originally we made this product. It was for extended oil drains, and this goes all the way back to 2008 when we were really primarily focused on the Ford 6-liter engine owner. And what we found is that the problem with that specific engine was the oil was shearing, and that's how we developed the Stiction Eliminator. Well, people love the Stiction Eliminator, and they said, well, how do I keep from ever having this problem again? Well, the only way to prevent it in that engine specifically is to use a full PAO synthetic base oil. So I checked throughout the whole market. I called Mobil, Chevron, Pennzoil, and asked them if they made a full PAO synthetic diesel oil, and all of them said no, that it wasn't available in the US. So we formulated one. That was our Blue Diamond engine oil. Now, this is kind of a long story to get to the end, but it'll make sense in a moment. At the time, our Blue Diamond engine oil was $54 a gallon, which is really expensive, and if I can give it away for free, I would. It's just really expensive to make. So we put it together and offered on the web. Well, a lot of drivers said, you know, the oil's coming back with great oil analysis, and it doesn't really need to be changed, but it's still a little bit dirty, you know, because you're starting to build up dirt in there. So we came out with a bypass filter. So we sold a bypass filter with the Blue Diamond engine oil. And again, we were just kind of chasing the solution as it went. The first problem was we got this buildup, we fixed that. Well, now what? Well, I don't want to have the buildup again. So here's your PAO oil. We fixed that. Well, now the oil's still good and we don't want to change it. Well, here's a filter that fixes that. Well, the next step was, you know, how do I re-additize that? Now that I got this really clean, really good oil, the additives have been depleted. So what now? So we came up with TBN Booster. And it was never meant to be a huge hit. It was made for a very specific segment of the market. There's a lot of semi-truck drivers that run extended drain intervals, a lot of pickup truck drivers that run extended drains. They needed a product that would actually boost the TBN. Now, for those of you that don't know, TBN is total base number. I know everybody laughs at me because
I was just going to ask it. Explain it to me. What is TBN?
Inside diesel oils, if you look at a gas oil, it doesn't really rate the detergent. But in diesel oils, because part of the problem is that it gets a lot of acid in it. If you change your oil on a diesel truck, which everybody watching this has a diesel knows. Carmen doesn't have a diesel, so she doesn't know this.
Not yet.
On a gas car, you check your oil after 3,000 miles, it still looks amber and clear, and you can see your fingerprint underneath the oil.
Okay.
On a diesel engine, you put it in there for about 300 miles, and it comes out as black as this coffee. It's just like that. It's because there's so much acid being built up in there. So to fight against that, they put detergents in there and acid neutralizers. And as it wears on, those neutralizers get neutralized themselves. So it's kind of like, you know, you take Tums because you have an upset stomach. Mm-hmm. You know, it neutralizes the acid. Well, that's what the detergents do and the dispersants do in there. And that's called the TBN, total base number, is what they rate it by. An ordinary engine oil today will start off at about a 7 TBN. And after you've run 5,000 to 10,000 miles, you're down to about a 3 or 4. And that's when you change it. In the old days, we would have TBNs 10 and 12 because there was more acid, we had sulfur in the fuel. So anyway, to get back to the story, we had to come up with a way to replenish that acid, or that acid neutralizer, and that was the TBN Booster.
Okay, so can you tell me, you had mentioned pickup drivers, you mentioned semi-truck drivers. Are they the only people that would benefit from using TBN?
Anybody that has a heavy-duty vehicle or a diesel engine, where this product pays for itself is somebody that wants to run an extended drain interval.
Okay.
You know, I don't really want to change my oil every 8,000 miles and you want to go longer. You can use TBN. You could probably double the life of the oil. We haven't, I'm pretty sure that's right. We haven't tested that. We will publish data as soon as we do that. A semi-truck driver that knows that he needs his oil changed but doesn't have time to do that, he can put TBM Booster in there and it will fix the problem. Now, one of the problems with marketing this product is we weren't thinking about that when I named it, obviously, because I wouldn't call it TBM Booster. You know, I was after the effect of what I was trying to accomplish, but really it's an oil stabilizer.
Okay.
Now, if you compare this to like a Lucas oil stabilizer has 0 active ingredients listed on their SDS sheet. So in essence, what it is a thick oil, like a bright stock or a thick gear oil. Ours is 100% additives. So everything in here is doing something useful to the inside of that engine. Now, just to add one more little piece to the story, because I didn't want to go too long on the last one. When Tractor Supply picked it up and they wanted to go national with it, we had to go back and reformulate it. So I said, okay, this product was made to do one thing specifically, and that was give you an extended drain interval, because nobody else in the market would do that. But now we want to extend this. What else can we do to make it even better? So we added to the TBN package, which would be an acid neutralizer, we added to that what is called the CK4 additive package. Now, CK4 is the rating on diesel engine oils. So when anybody, us, Mobil, Chevron, blends an oil, they're using a base oil and then a CK4 oil additive package. So we're the only people in the industry that took that same additive that we blended engine oil with and put it into a quart. You can't buy it anywhere else. I mean, you can call Lubrizol and buy it, but you can't go to the shelf at Napa or any place and say, I want to buy the CK4 oil additive package. They'll say that's not available to the public. That's only for formulators like us. But we actually took it and put it in this product. And then we made 1/3 of the product FR3. Again, we were thinking, okay, if I want to make the perfect oil stabilizer, what would I do? To make it the best it could possibly be, I would put CK4 in it, which is also going to have viscosity improvers to keep the oil thicker. It's also going to have detergents and dispersants to keep the oil from getting sooty, and then FR3 to super lubricate the inside of that engine. It's the perfect oil additive for that purpose.
So my understanding about TBN and that process of extending your oil drain intervals is that to really get the benefit, or know that if you really need it, you need to do an oil analysis. Not that you couldn't use it without an oil analysis, but can you kind of tell me why oil analysis is so important, who it's important for, especially when using TBN Booster?
Sure. Oil analysis gives us all the information that's going on inside the engine. It's kind of like going to the doctor and he gives you a physical. You know, that's getting all the idea of how you feel and checking your knees and all that, checking your tonsils, but he doesn't really know what's going on the inside until he does a blood test. Okay, we can listen to an engine, you can check all the engine codes, but you don't really know what's going on inside until you do an oil analysis. It's like a blood test for your truck. Once I look at that and I see how much iron is in there, I see how much silicon is in there, I can see how much magnesium, potassium. That gives me an idea of what's happening inside there. Are your bearings wearing out too quickly? Is your detergent falling? So on a very simple basis, what I would look for a TBM Booster is, I've gone, say my rating is to go 10,000 miles between oil changes. And I ran 10,000 miles and my TBN is at a 2. Okay, well that's too long. Even though the manufacturer says that's good, your oil isn't holding up that long. You can add TBN Booster to that and go the 10,000 miles.
Okay.
Or I've run it at 10,000 miles and everything looks fine in the oil except that the TBN is low. The detergent package is starting to deplete. Think of it this way: if you're, like when you're washing dishes and you got all those suds and everything with your Dawn dish soap, and then you're on the second load and there's no more suds, and you're thinking, oh man, I've only got 3 more dishes to do. Do I want to drain all this water and start over, or do I want to shoot some more Dawn dish soap in there and start over again? You get the little sprayer and foam it up a little bit. Okay, it does the job, right? Mm-hmm. Well, that's what TBM Booster does. You've got rid of all your detergent. That's why there's no suds, and we could reboost that up with the exact same additives that engine oil was built with in the first place. So it's a very balanced, very good way to go.
So, just so you guys know out there, the oil analysis kit, we actually sell those on our website. And one of the neat things that I think, or services that we offer at Hot Shot Secret is when you buy an oil analysis kit and then you get access to a portal, you get notified when your results your results come in, you'll get a report. But not only are you getting the information on a report, but we take the health of your vehicle very important. So Chris is known to look at every report and kind of say, hey, I took a look at it and here's some concerns or here's some things that you can do to improve or protect your vehicle.
I'm also a certified oil management analysis. I got certification from STLE and that, so it's...
And what's STLE? Like what? Like I know you've said like I'm a tribologist. Like
it's a society
for those of us that don't know.
It's the Society of Tribology and Lubrication Engineers, and what they've done is put together a series of ratings for folks like myself that have core competencies in different disciplines. And the reason is because when you're working with tribology, which is the study of friction and moving surfaces. It involves so many different areas. It's not just chemistry, it's not just mechanical engineering, it's not just mechanics, it's knowing how everything interacts. So they've put together a field of study, an organization that studies this all over the world. It's actually a worldwide organization, and they put certifications out there so that if somebody from, say, General Motors wanted a certified lubrication specialist that can come in and look at all the different areas of lubrication, they know they have a certain core competency. So oil management analysis is one of the certifications that I picked up, and that just says that I know how to read all the different oil analysis, know what the tests do, know how they work, know which test to order for you, that type of thing.
And that's the kind of hands-on approach that we take here at Hot Shot Secret. So who would benefit from, if I'm a daily driver, a semi-truck owner, small business owner, who would benefit from doing an oil analysis?
Anybody who wants to hold on to your vehicle. If you are going, well, it's not, I didn't mean it to be funny. A lot of my friends that know what I do for a living, they'll say, well, what can I put in my car? It's like, well, what are you driving? I'm driving a Chevy Impala and I trade it in every 2 years for a new one. Well, just keep doing that. I mean, there's nothing we're going to do to make that work any better. You're on a pattern. Now, if you say, I bought a boat and I want this to be the last boat I ever bought, well, I can make that engine last forever. Or I spent, $100,000 on a semi truck and I want it to last forever. Okay, well, let's look at this. Here's where I can show you value. Oil analysis will let you know all along the way what's happening. I bought this car and I'm having problems. I don't want to spend a lot of money. Oil analysis will give us some indication of what's happening. For $20, we can tell you what's happening inside the engine. Anybody that depends on their vehicle for a living, I would do oil analysis. There was one trucking company in Cincinnati that we had never done oil analysis, and we talked them into doing it. And he had a truck that was out on the road, and it was in New York. And when we got the oil analysis back, we found out that it had antifreeze in the oil. And for those of you that don't know, the additive package in antifreeze is not compatible with the additive package in engine oil. So it only takes a couple teaspoons of antifreeze to ruin the bearings inside of an engine. Okay. So we were able to call that driver. They had him pull it into a shop, replace the head gasket. Had we not had that oil analysis, told him that, he would have been looking at a $20,000 rebuild. So wow. It really does, it heads things off far ahead of time. Yeah,
it's great for preventative maintenance. And for those of you that maybe popped in a little bit late, I'm just going to reiterate that if you share this video right now, everybody that shares, likes, comments, you will get a 10% coupon code to use in future purchases. So, and ask your questions away. We are happy to answer them at any time. Have any come in?
We do have a couple questions.
Okay, let's hear them.
Brandon Newber asks, what can I use in gas engines? And he said it's a brand new car, 7,000 miles.
Oh, wow. So I would say, I'll let Chris affirm me, but since I'm the newbie, okay? All right. So I'm going to say that you are definitely going to want to use FR3. We're laughing because Kyle, our marketing director, is in the background telling me that I tanked, but I didn't.
First level would be FR3, and then the next level would be to go to a full synthetic oil. One of our Blue Diamond oils will last a lot longer. I mean, you could easily leave it in there for 10 or 20,000 miles without any problems whatsoever. Just to give you an idea, if you did an oil analysis at 7,000 miles and then ran our oil to 20,000, our oil analysis will look better than yours did at 7. That's how much better it is. So it's a great way to go, but it is expensive. And again, if I could give it away, I would. I don't. but I can't.
And then we have another question.
A couple comments. We have one from Brian Young, said, just ordered your winter additive, keeping his fingers crossed. Have faith, Brian, no worries. Tom G.
Hey, we see Tom
see
G every
Tom a
week.
lot. Yep.
Hey,
He
Tom
said,
Tom.
I visited my local tractor supply and diesel anti-gel is flying off the shelf in Pennsylvania. Glad people in my area have found the best kept secret.
Thanks,
Excellent.
Tom Tom. We appreciate that.
And James Bruce, another common name we see here, says, not only the product's amazingly awesome, the Hot Shot Secret beanie fits this fat guy the best I've ever had for real.
We need a picture.
Yeah, send a picture.
Can you
We'll
send
post
a picture so we can share that? And
Yeah, James, please send a picture. He says, also, my Olga is loving her black diamond and her Hot Shot Secret Motorsports tattoo. Thank you.
send
guys.
a picture of Olga too. We want to see her. Okay, so that is actually, I want to transition into a question that we kind of get often, at least when I'm reading comments
One
that come in.
second. One other thing I thought about the TBN booster.
Oh, okay.
Sorry to interrupt
No,
you.
no, it's fine.
If you want to make an oil, a premium oil, like if you're not in a position to buy a really good oil, you can just put a few ounces of TBM Booster and you have just increased how good that oil is by 3 levels. So if you're on the shelf and you're looking at this oil is $15 and this one is $18 and this one's $25 and you can only afford the 15, buy this and just put it, the treatment rates are on there. So
Right.
it just takes a couple of ounces and you just went from the 15 to the 18 or to the 21. It's that much better.
I still want to stay, even though, TBN is an oil additive, I still want to stay on the oil additive subject. We have 3 of them. So can you tell me what makes each of them different and kind of who it applies to?
And it's really confusing. I feel really bad about that.
We're
I mean,
going to simplify it right now.
It really, it is. It's tough. I mean, you even wonder, should we even do that? Should we just make it easy and have one product for everybody? But again, we're problem specific, so we try to focus in on the problem.
So let's start with Stiction.
Okay, Stiction Eliminator is going to clean and lubricate the inside of that engine. It's going to clean all the Stiction out with one treatment. That's what it's made to do. It's also going to lubricate, reduce the wear, increase your horsepower, increase your fuel economy. The follow-up treatment to that would be FR3. FR3 is going to keep things clean because the esters are natural cleaners, but it's got the nanocarbon in it. All of these have nanocarbons in them, but it's going to super lubricate the inside of that engine.
So can I clarify something? For the guy that just asked about his gas engine and what he should start with, he mentioned, I think, that it only had 7,000 miles. So one of the perfect differentiators that I've learned, and Chris, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but with Stiction and a deep clean, the reason why we said FR3 as an oil additive to start with is because your car is newer and you likely don't have that Stiction buildup that an
Correct.
older car would have. Is that
Nope,
right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Man, you're smart. Then the third,
Kyle's giving me anxiety.
the third product that we have that's an oil additive is the TBM Booster. This one will do everything that the FR3 will do, plus it will increase the amount of detergent that's in there. So if you were to do a test and say I put FR3 in, your level of detergent did not go up or down, it stayed the same. If you add a TBN, you're going to see your TBN number go up. So on the lab, it will say you had a 7 and now it's a 9. So you're getting the benefits of FR3, you're getting the cleaning ability of the detergents, and you're building up the oil, fortifying it with the CK4 oil package. So CK4 additive is not in those other 2 additives, just in this one.
Okay. So
Hopefully that's clear.
I think it does. I think it kind of, another thing that comes up, and when we're talking about the oil additives, and what a lot of people maybe don't realize is that we have a whole line of premium oil. The next question is, do I need the oil additives if I'm using our oils?
No. Everything that you see here is incorporated into every one of our engine oils. If you're using a Hot Shot Secret engine oil, you do not need to use these additives. They're already part of it.
So really, these additives are meant, like you said, to bring regular oil, what you'd find on the shelf, to a level that meets the engine, stresses.
Correct. I mean, as the engines get more efficient and they shear those hydrocarbons, these are made to fix those problems. So, one was made to clean and lubricate, one's made to boost performance, and one's made to boost performance and detergent. Somehow we have to put that in a better phraseology. It'd be nice if we had come up with names that were closer to what they're trying to do. But again, that was before we had these brilliant marketing people on board. And it was just, like walking around drinking a cup of coffee thinking, what can we call this stuff? So now we've got the A-team on board. You and Kyle and Eric and Levi, you guys should be able to come up with all
A-team.
kinds.
That's going to be our new t-shirt, guys. We're
Yeah.
going to come up with a A-team, and on the back it's going to say hashtag not my budget.
Now, in the future, if you don't see higher level of performance from our naming and our labels and our marketing,
You can blame me, Kyle, Eric,
That's
Levi.
just send us an email and say, Chris, it looks the same as it did 2 years ago. I don't know what you're spending all that money on. You guys were doing great with TBN Booster. We knew what it was. We were using it.
That's great. So we have some more questions and comments coming in. Kyle's over here being super helpful and reading them off to us.
A couple more comments came in. David Berg, one of our good friends that helps move our products, says he has a customer that got an air compressor from a friend that had a knock in it. He changed the oil and added FR3 and the knocking's gone.
Yeah. Because air compressors are really hot, if you haven't noticed, and they do shear the oil. Leaves a lot of stiction behind. The FR3 would have cleaned that up and lubricated it to make the knock go away. I absolutely can see how that would work that way.
James Bruce responded saying that he does have a pic on the recommendation on our Facebook page Thursday at 8:30 a.m. So we'll post pick up and put it on
Thank
top
you
of the
so
page.
much. Yeah, we love getting that engagement from our customers. Send your pictures in. We want to see all of your cars, what their names are, all of that good stuff. So thank you.
And we get another one from Janice Claypool. Says, Tom Perini used to work on my 69 Camaro, and I'm very happy with the performance of my car. He used FR3.
Isn't he one of our
He
racers?
is. Ironically, Tom Perini just moved down to Florida, and he is racing on the track right now as we speak.
Wow.
So
About
the
that.
Hot Shot Secret Corvette is out on the track. We'll be sharing some of the pictures and video on our Facebook page.
Where at in Florida?
They're at Bradenton. Big
Excellent.
event this weekend.
Okay, good
Along
luck,
with
Tom.
Derek Klein's down there as well with the Hot Shot Secret Dragster.
Okay.
Awesome. Good luck, guys.
We want some wins.
Send some pictures.
James, I got to read this one. James Bruce says Kyle is the stud, so I appreciate that, James.
James, what did he pay you?
Exactly. Tom G chimed back in and says, my relative has a car that he only drives 1,000 to 2,000 miles a year. It's an Audi that has 75,000 miles. The car takes 11 quarts of oil. It's a real waste of money and oil to have to change the oil that is relatively new. Are there any alternatives than a yearly oil change?
That's a great question.
Yes. TBM Booster. You have, making our case for us. Okay, this is why. Once you start the combustion action going, you're starting to create the acids. So even though you've only gone 1,000 miles, you shut the engine down, you put it into the garage, that acid still keeps building because the acid action is still continuing. So just a little bit of extra detergent in there will neutralize that acid so that oil will stay stable for years. So if it was my vehicle, I would put maybe 2 ounces, what'd you say, 11 quarts?
Yes.
So we would get about a 4 TBN at 11 ounces. You wouldn't need half of that. So it would probably be 4 to 5 ounces of TBM Booster, and that oil should be good for 2 to 3 years. And it will give you the FR3, the benefits of FR3 and viscosity improver. So it'd actually be even a better oil.
So my mind goes to the financial piece of that. So 2 to 3 ounces, so a bottle of this versus having to change the oil on that. What's the benefit? Talk about that.
Yeah, you see, that's the crazy thing. That's why I say this is the best kept secret that we've got. I mean, you really only have to spend about $10 worth of TBN Booster, and you can double the life of your oil, even in a regular car.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take a lot. This is when I say 100% additives, I mean 100% additives. There's nothing in there as a fill. All of our products are that way, but
Right.
I mean the point is it's a really there's a lot packed in there. There's a lot of additive package in there.
So we have, Kyle's raising his hand.
I have a question.
Oh,
So if you're looking to get a long term on your oil, maybe extend your oil interval with the TBN Booster, are there any other products we have that help keep the oil clean for a long time that work very well in tandem with TBN Booster?
yes.
No, I don't know. The France filter. Kyle is giving us a hard time. They're back there going crazy because we didn't mention the Franz filter.
I was gonna bring that up next.
See, Carmen had this under control. If you want to extend the life of your oil or your engine, you can put a Franz filter on there. The kits are extremely reasonable. The replacement elements are only, I think, $8 or $10. But the idea is your normal filter that's on your car, we call it a spin-on filter. Your spin-on filter is about 15 micron. So the micron rating is the size of the dirt that it filters out. In essence, that's more or less like a screen door on a house. There's a lot of dirt that still flows through there, and if you think about this, you can't really choke down that oil because the engine will starve for oil, so they have to do that. What we do is we bypass the whole system, and we bring a little stream of oil off. We run it through a 1 to 2 micron filtration, and then we feed it back into the oil pan. Okay, so if you think about this, it's kind of like your swimming pool in the spring. If you have a swimming pool and you got all that green stuff in there, and you turn that pool filter on, and it pulls a strain of that off, and it just cleans it through the sand filter and then puts it back in the pool. At the end of the week, the water's crystal clear. At the beginning of the week, it's all green and brown and murky looking. Well, that's kind of what we're doing with your engine oil. If you look at the numbers, we had a truck in here that we had bought on eBay. It was a Ford 6-liter because we want to do some experiments with it. We put one of these Franz filters on there, and it was, just to give you round numbers, how many parts per million dirt was that? Do you remember, Eric? I think it was it 200 parts per million? It's in our literature, but it was like 200 parts per million dirt, which is a lot of dirt. It was really dirty. But within 250 miles, we pulled it back after putting a Franz filter on. We did another test, and we had it down to 1,600. So at normal brand new engine oil is 1,800. Okay, so the take home here is that within 250 miles, we had the oil inside that engine cleaner than a brand new quart of oil. Now, if you think about clean oil pumping through the veins of your engine all the time, you're taking out all that abrasive wear, all the things that are normally in there, scratching things up, you're removing that. It literally makes your engine last forever. And I'm not
Not just saying that.
It literally does. It makes it last forever. I had a guy who was using mobile oil. He wasn't even using our oil. And he had a bypass filter on his truck. And he was changing the oil every 80,000 miles, 80,000 miles with mobile synthetic. And he had 500,000 miles on the truck. Had never done anything except the clutch plate and the brakes and the battery. And he kept the truck because he just wanted to see how far it would go. He wasn't burning any oil, but at 500,000 miles, changing the oil 80,000 miles, that's pretty impressive.
And to kind of simplify, when I think about that and how that makes a difference in someone's lives, whether I'm a small business owner and I own a construction company, I have a small fleet of heavy-duty pickup trucks, is essentially these products that we have here, if you were to use them in tandem together, the bypass filter and either the oil that we make or your favorite oil and our oil additives, you're not only keeping your oil clean, you're preventing problems, but you're also protecting your investment, right?
It makes the engine last forever.
Yeah, I mean, so if I'm a small business owner, if I have a pickup truck and I have a small fleet, I'm thinking that that's going to add a significant amount of money to my bottom line.
Absolutely. Any place where the vehicle is really important. I'd say someplace else where it comes in, like garbage trucks, boats, things like that, especially on things that are hard to change oil. An RV, RVs are not easy to work on. If you got a diesel pusher, motorhome.
Do you know from experience?
I do know this from experience. It's absolutely worth putting a filter on. And if you use a Franz filter with our engine oil, you could easily go 50, 100,000 miles between oil changes. I know that sounds crazy compared to what we've been conditioned to believe, but the technology is there to do that.
So we have 4 questions that Kyle just informed us that came in, so he's going to read them off and we're going to answer them.
David Berg asked, can FR3 be used in antifreeze?
No, that's a bad idea. Oil and water don't mix. Well, we can make them mix, but we don't want to do that.
Evan Tracy asked, does the Franz have a sample port?
In our kits, we build one into it. The Franz filter basic kit, that's really is the toughest thing about the whole Franz kit. It's the Franz filter is fine, but then trying to make these kits that fit every vehicle is where the difficulty comes in. But we do have a hose that you can pull off and get a sample from. Or if you're putting it in, you could put a T with a little on-off valve that looks kind of like one you'd have on a refrigerator. So there's rubber lines going to the different ports, and you can just put a oil port in there any place.
Or also on the cap where it's returning back to the oil, you can just simply lift it.
Yeah, we have a return line going right into the cap, and you can just pull the cap off and fill the bottle up. that works fine.
Next question.
Wow, James Bruce just erased it, but he does say, oh, by the way, my guns are loving the bore in action. Go Team Fitzgerald.
Go with Team Fitzgerald.
Gun oil, our bore and action loop is taking off. We're getting a lot of feedback on that, so you'll probably see it on the shelf soon.
And Tom G chimes in again. How many years would you keep an off-the-shelf oil, such as a Castrol or Mobil 1 full synthetic, in a car while using TBN Booster for the 1,000 miles a year? Would you add TBN Booster yearly or every 6 months? Also, can you add too much TBN Booster?
Good questions.
You could probably add too much, but it takes some work to do that. I would put it in when I change the oil. You can add it any time. We're only talking about 4 ounces. But if it was me, I would just put it in there after I change the oil and then not worry about it for 3 years. If you have any concerns at all, just do an oil test at year 2. It'll probably come back fine. But there's not, my guess is there's very little chance that you're going to see any degradation of that oil after 3 years. I'll tell you a way you could tell. This is kind of a hillbilly thing that we used to do when we were doing a lot of this, is when you take the dipstick and you pull it through your fingers and then wipe it off, if you see any stain in your fingerprint, that usually means it's time to change it. But if it comes clean, then it usually means it's pretty good. And I've done it 100 times with oil tests just to check it, and it seems to work almost every time. So.
We have some questions here, some frequently asked questions that we get on a frequent basis. Haha. Chuck asks about Gas Extreme. What would be the recommendation for carburetor applications?
As far as should you use it or not?
What would be the recommendation? So gasoline, we have an answer kind of here that we've written on our FAQ page, is that Gas Extreme was formulated mainly for injected engines, but will certainly help carbureted engines as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The detergent in there is going to clean up everything, and we're going to get a better combustion process. We were able to get about an 7-8% increase in fuel economy, which is what we were aiming for. And there are several additives in there that are unique to us. We're the only ones doing that, so it is a unique product. So it would help any carbureted application, any direct injection application across the board. It's safe in any gasoline engine it's safe in.
And it packs a lot of punch. The 12-ounce bottle, I think it's 12 ounces. It's good for a 10,000 mile application, and one bottle will treat 15 gallons.
Yeah.
Kyle's killing me over there. He's heckling. I have a heckler over there.
Yeah, the Gasoline Extreme is a great value. We did a lot of testing on it. It's taken us several years to come out with it because we really couldn't find anything that was head and shoulders above everything else that was on the shelf. And we tested some really exotic ideas. When we go to the STLE convention, we find, all the distributors from everywhere, all the different chemical companies, and we bring them back here and we tested them. Hundreds and hundreds of mileage tests to find things that actually move the bar. Then we look for synergies between them, and we finally came out with something that was truly unique. And a big, high five to Kevin and Aaron, our research and development department. They really worked hard to come up with that product, and they hit it out of the park.
Sure.
Try it, you'll be happy with it.
Our next question is from Dan. He asks, can I use TBN Booster if I already have Stiction Eliminator in my oil to prolong oil change, or does it have to be used alone?
No, you can use it with the Stiction Eliminator. There's no reason you wouldn't be able to. It will extend the oil drain, and keeping it clean would be the next level of performance, to make it last longer.
Okay.
But sure.
All right, and Carlos asks, I have a semi, uses 10 gallons of 15W40 oil. I added your TBM Booster at 5,000 miles. Can I add FR3 rather than adding more TBN Booster?
Absolutely. I mean, you can always do that. The FR3 is going to move more toward performance and adding nano lubricants. The TBM Booster at 5,000 miles might not even be needed. Your detergent level is probably where it needs to be, and you might wait until another 5,000 then put some TBN in. But just remember, if you're using TBN, you don't need the FR3 because it's already got FR3 in it.
That's the...
Nah, I'm sorry. I mean, TBN has FR3. FR3 does not have TBN.
So I want to add my own question in here, is if I'm using our oil additives, do I have any benefit of, do I get extra benefit for using our fuel additives in tandem?
Oh, absolutely, because we're affecting both sides of the system now. We've got the oil side, we're increasing the film strength, we're lubricating everything in there, and we're cleaning it out so that it runs the best it can. But then on the fuel side, that's a whole different system. We want to clean the tank out, clean all the lines out, clean the injector tips, the little springs in there, the inside of the valves. So it's a different system, and you will see, the results are independent of each other. So when we did our dyno test with a FedEx truck at the EPA lab down in Columbus at OSU, we did Stiction Eliminator one day, and we got a 4% increase in fuel economy. Then the next day we did the diesel extreme, and we got another 4% increase. They were independent of each other. You can move the bar with either one. If you go back and just use one of our fuel additives, you'll get a 4 to 5% increase. And then add the fuel or the oil additive, you'll get another 4 to 5% increase.
So what Chris mentions here is when we run these tests and we do these independent studies, we publish all of those findings. You'll find that on our website if you go to the Stiction Eliminator page, and I think there's it's under one of the tabs. Levi will show you over there at some point. But we publish all of our data because we really pride ourselves on being a transparent company. Everything, when we put a product out, we say that it is the best of the best, and we want to prove that out both in, a scientific controlled area, but then also out in the real world. And we have some more questions that came in as well.
Yeah, a couple comments and a question. Aaron Crandall says, enjoy using all your products in my '08 Duramax. Amazing stuff.
Thank you very much. Spread the word. We appreciate it.
James Bruce again says, next Philip, I should be able to see how well Gas Extreme does in a '03 Honda V6. Just put it in last night.
Great. We can't wait to hear that feedback. Let us know. Be sure to send us an email and make sure to
post it on Facebook.
Post it
Good
on
or
Facebook.
bad. We want
Yeah.
Hey, science
Yeah.
is science. We want to know.
Exactly.
And finally, a stranger named Levi asked a question saying, why no octane booster in the gasoline extreme?
Oh,
That's a long story. 'Cause the problem is to boost octane in gasoline, you need to use either alcohol or tetraethyl lead. And
say that 3 times really fast.
tetraethyl lead. So that's kind of illegal now. They don't like you using lead because it ruins the catalytic converters. And you'll see that there's most of the places that you go to buy gas now have 10% or 15% alcohol in them, methanol or ethanol. And the reason they do that is to boost up the octane. The volumes are huge. There's that I know of, there's no really easy way to do it chemically in an 8-ounce bottle. There's a lot of things on the shelf that say octane boost. I don't know that they're really octane boosters as much as they're just, maybe detergents that are giving you the performance to make it feel like you're boosting the octane. But to truly boost the octane, the only 2 ways that I know of are lead and alcohol. So we don't do either one of those.
Okay. Any more? We have another question here from Travis that says, I have a new 2018 Ram 2500 Cummins with a 35-gallon tank. I do a lot of heavy towing, around 16,000 pounds. How many ounces of EDT would be best when I fill up? And would it be good to use in my heavy equipment as well, like a bobcat or a backhoe dozer?
Well, the second part of that question is absolutely. It's
Yes.
good in any piece of diesel equipment. EDT can be used across the board. Anything that's diesel should be using diesel extreme or EDT. As far as the treatment ratios, let me see, we've got 35-gallon tank. How many ounces is that, Kyle, of EDT?
We have it.
2 or 4.
Two ounces if it's a maintenance dose. If you want performance dose, it'd be 4 ounces.
1 ounce per 25 gallons is maintenance dose. 2 ounces per 25 gallons is performance.
Okay.
So
I didn't get the question.
3 ounces.
1.5.
Yeah, 1.5, 3 ounces, something like that. But you get the idea. It just takes a few ounces. And this isn't a perfect science. If you overtreat, it's fine. If you undertreat, you're still going to see the benefits. So, Carmen, it's been 15 minutes. We have 9 minutes before they choose to stop it here.
That went by really fast.
You have your choice between more questions, or do you need to get to this industry news?
I think we'll skip the industry news. If there's any more questions, we'll just kind of wrap it up. As a reminder, right now on every order over $99 gets a free 8-ounce bottle of FR3. And that each 8-ounce bottle treats 5 quarts of oil. Don't forget to share and like this video to get 10% off your next purchase. We will not be posting that publicly, so if you shared or commented and engaged with us, we will send that to you privately after we wrap things up. Like our page, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our e-newsletter. Be on the lookout for a new loyalty rewards program that we're going to be putting out. Just a lot more content, but we are always looking for your ideas as well. So if there's topics that you want to hear us talk about, please be sure to send those in. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate all of your comments and questions.
And thank you again for joining us. Have a great weekend. This was the best 30-minute Facebook cast that we've ever done. And we look forward to seeing you next Friday.
Happy Friday.